It is so good. Okay, so we're back. If you're watching on YouTube, hi guys, how you doing? We need to do a recap. Who would like to do the honors? Anybody? How about Tabrin? We've had one from Harbeck and we've had one from Brieg. How about one from Tabrin? Your mic is muted, sir.
There we go.
There we go.
So we all came to the town of Kanesh to find a contact that I had come to know about while we were searching in Vier. Upon getting there, we found our way to the inn. And waiting to get information on where to talk to Elder Varen to get translation of the scroll and book that we have. The innkeeper came to talk to me in the middle of the night, and I didn't really trust her, and so she wiped my memory, and I have thus been somewhat lost as to where we were, why we're there, all that information. At the same time, Breg was to meet some contact out in the stable in which he is unsure what had happened, but we have come to find out there was some sort of... Or no, we figured it out after he was knocked out, lost his memory, traced his steps back, and found the stable boy, charmed him, and he told us that he had stabbed Breg, and now he is headed in to talk to his boss? Sorry, that's very disconjointed summary. Anyone else want to help there?
I think that's kind of the story of this whole session. It's been very confusing and disjointed, as party members have lost their memories and so forth. But basically, the general gist of things was there. You traveled to this town to find Elder Varen. Two of you ended up having your memory wiped, and now it looks like you finally found out how and why and by who. And the stable boy, who is not in fact a stable boy, but an undercover operative of a secretive order, is going to tell his superior, who is the innkeeper, also an undercover operative of a secret order, that you guys are friendly, and that you might be of some use.
And it turns out Brig might have been dead all night.
Yes.
And if LlamaChomp is acting strangely... Sorry, if Harbeck is acting strangely, it's because he's trying to vomit out his hangover.
Working on it. He did just manage to... Well, I suppose a blinding flash will do that.
We'll get there eventually.
Okay, so you've let the stable boy, who we now know is not a stable boy, go, and he's travelled inside the inn, correct? What are the rest of you doing while he walks into the back door of the inn?
Do you think maybe we should show the scroll in the books to the innkeeper?
I think she's the one that wiped my memory.
I think we might need to gather a bit more information about what's going on before we worry about our task of getting the scrolls translated. I mean, there's separate mysteries here, and I don't know if we want to work on solving the first before we know a bit more about the second.
I do have a certain amount of mistrust of secret organizations, so I agree with Harbeck on this point. I think we need to learn more about them before we decide to trust them so implicitly.
But we don't even know what the books say.
True. Is that adding to this discussion in some way?
Well, yeah, it might be a grocery list, so perhaps they don't need a lot of trust in order to translate them.
Yes,
We
but it
know
could
that
be
it's
something...
connected to Sarath, the evil serpent
goddess.
The stable boy seemed to be familiar, also.
With
When
the
we
lizard
asked about
people.
the tattoo.
So we're just gonna sit here while Harbeck pukes?
I was going to follow
I'd
him in.
appreciate it.
I thought perhaps we should step back into the inn. There's no need for us to stand out here in the mud.
You've got some bits in your beard.
I will. There'll be more before there's less.
Rogar, you said you were going to walk into the back of the inn?
Yeah, I would rather be there and be ready to talk to her than not.
Then not be.
I'll follow you in momentarily. Once I'm empty, I'll need to be refilled.
Rogar, as you attempt to walk into the back door, you feel resistance as you approach the back door. And when you try to enter the back door, you find yourself struggling against a force that doesn't seem to have a physical presence. Can I have a wisdom saving throw, please? A 15 will not get you there. Okay, you feel barred against entry. Physically being forced not to enter the door. You tried, but it's like walking into a wall of invisible water. It's
Perhaps the front door may be more accommodating?
I
I'm
don't
not
know
sure it
that they'll
matters that way.
talk to us if we're
We should just
inside.
wait here if they don't want us. I think waiting here would be prudent. There's no people here. They obviously want to talk for a minute. I think that this is our best shot at actually making it to this guy to translate our books, regardless of anything else. And I think if we try to circumvent them, it's only going to come back to bite us.
Fair enough.
the voice of reason. The voice of reason from the only party member who has yet to show signs of complete insanity.
It turns out, may have been dead all evening. I think I'm going to go have a sit down.
There's room here. Just
I'm
avoid
going to
this
sit down
spot right in
somewhere
the
where
middle.
the contents of a dwarf's stomach are not adding to the aroma.
Mm-hmm.
The wolf is
You-
going to wander over and start lapping up the puke.
Yeah,
I'll have more
as
for you in a
dogs,
moment, boy.
as dogs tend to do. Oh dear. As you sit beneath a tree and sort of try to come to grips with your death, apparently, you start to feel shaken by the fact. So shaken, in fact, that you start to feel fearful, and start rocking backwards and forwards. And as you're probably already aware, welcome back, Brieg. The whole party notices, Silverstar sits himself quite comfortably next to a tree and seems to be almost meditative, and then starts rocking backwards and forwards and shrinks down into a scared ball of Fluffy Gnome. Fluffy Gnome, that's a great name, by the way. A short while after the stable boy walked into the inn, he walks back out of the inn, and he is being tailed by the innkeeper, the large, rotund barkeep. And she's got a sort of almost like a scowl on her face, almost a. She's not happy with whatever situation this is, as she walks out of the back door, and she glances around at you and points at the gnome that's rocking by the tree, and says, You charmed my subordinate?"
Yes?
Brieg doesn't remember charming anybody.
I mean, the inflection was like this. Yes?
Before I stand up and turn around, I'm going to encourage Wolf to clean up my face a little bit, so that I'm slightly more presentable.
Kisses.
And then I will stand up. No harm was meant. We are merely trying to convince your subordinate that we're not a threat. We don't have anything to do with whatever is going on here. Our intentions, our reason for being here is completely separate.
And in his defense, your subordinate did stab him.
Kill him, most likely. Oh, don't worry about it, Brig. It wasn't you. There was another elven gentleman who was dead all night.
What?
He's alive now, it's fine.
You didn't kill him.
Right. Do you have any idea what they're talking about, Binks?
Squeak, squeak. She strolls
Squeak, squeaker,
pointedly.
Squeak, squeaker, squeak.
She strolls pointedly towards, strides rather, not strolls, with purpose towards the gnome, and grabs him by the shoulder and lifts him up and looks deep into his eyes.
You're in so much trouble.
Please don't.
You best put him down.
Brig, roll a will save for me, please.
He doesn't
I will-
remember. You don't need to clear the memory of... Okay.
Oh, Will, huh?
Yeah, wisdom saving. 13. You feel violated, penetrated, like somebody is looking deep into your
Not
soul.
in a good way.
And as you stare back into the eyes of the innkeep, her eyes widen with shock and awe. She's clearly taken aback by something, and she gently places you back on the ground and says, I'm so sorry, and kneels before you.
Well, that was a bit unexpected. No harm done.
She stays prostrated against the ground.
Can you
Harbeck
tell me
just
why
sits back down like today is too confusing. He's done. He turns around, leans up against the wall at the end. He's just done. Just done.
Could you tell me why you're kneeling?
She looks up and looks into your eyes once again, and a look of... She's not confused. It's like she understands something all of a sudden. And she says, "Oh. Ah.
Maybe she's kneeling because you're so short.
The simplest explanation is often the correct one." And she bows her head again and says, "Do not worry, sire. One day you will come to understand."
Sire.
And with that, she stands up with her head still bowed in reverence, backs away slowly, and says, "Anything we can do to help, we will."
I just give up.
Well, I think we're looking for the same person.
Elder Varen, yes. He's disappeared. We've been trying to find out what happened to him in town. It's very difficult to do it secretly, though, and we can't afford to blow our cover.
Perhaps some outsiders could help.
Well, yes, that's why we spoke to your friend, and she indicates towards Tabern, last night, to see if you know, we could trust him, if he would be able to help us out, but he was less than forthcoming, and I had to wipe his memory of the event.
I'm sure there was good reason for me to not disclose the information that I no longer have.
Rig, are you a king and you didn't tell us?
It appears that might be possible.
The innkeeper sort of lets out a small grunted laugh and then regains her composure.
Either way, I think I might be done talking.
Harbeck starts scrawling notes for a hangover cure in the dirt, having completely given up on understanding today's events in his current state.
Look, we are in need of getting some information translated.
I thought we didn't know if we could trust her to show her the books.
Well,
We're
now
actually
she's
going to show her the books.
I
Oh,
can't trust her.
What
Apparently.
books?
Goes back to his notes.
We were seeking out the Elder for a particular reason.
And what reason was that?
We found some writings that we thought he might be able to help us translate.
Okay. I could have a look at them for you if you'd like.
no, we don't trust you.
Then,
I'm
come help me with this formula.
Okay.
Ever the pinnacle of decorum.
She may be
Fair
blunt,
enough,
but
fair
she's
enough.
not entirely wrong.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's okay. I completely understand. So, look. Anyway, we have a lead. The village elder, he had been a long time opposer of some change that was going to be happening. One of the other elders was causing some trouble, and we think he may have had a hand in the disappearance. Because ever since Elder Velen's disappearance, he's been the sole elder in the town. He's the person running things around here, and it's why it's so difficult for us to investigate this issue. If it came to his attention, if he's what we think if he's what we think he is, and it came to his attention that we were looking for Elder Velen, and Elder Velen is still alive, he may end up killing him, or he may end up slaughtering the entire town. We have to be careful about this situation.
So what do we
But
do?
if you're looking for Elder Velen, I would start by looking into Elder Repsis. He's the one who has seized power, if you will, since Elder Velen's disappearance.
Can you tell us who else is in on this with you?
The other members of the Order in town? Certainly. The lead brewer and his gnomish apprentice. They're both members of the Order. Myself and the stable boy here. We're the team that was dispatched to try and locate and secure Elder Velen.
Does your order have a name?
My lord, I wish I could share it with you, but I can't right now.
Alright. So do we just go talk with Repsis?
How you approach the situation is up to you. I'll leave it to your better judgment. We've tried and not been able to do anything, not to be able to make any headway, but maybe you can.
We could just ask him.
What are you afraid he might be?
We believe he may have some ties to an evil deity who has been gaining power and support within the region. One of the new gods.
Sarath.
Yes.
Oh. Rogar's ready to go start punching things.
Indeed.
Well, it looks like we have a direction. Where can we find Repsis?
You'll find him in the town hall. He's taken up residence there ever since Elder Velen's disappearance.
Let's
just go and Briegel magic him, and then he'll tell us everything.
That doesn't always work. We can try it, I suppose.
It worked the last time.
True.
What are we gonna do? Laugh him into submission?
That works every time.
It's worked in the past. Maybe. I don't know.
I love that, like, I'm like
We
a
can give
quarter-
him some of these things I don't need, and then he can give us information that we do need. That's commerce.
Good then. Excellent.
She's learning.
We'll talk about secrets and people's motivation not to share them, and the value of the things we don't need later. But you've grasped the concept.
A round of applause, everybody. Dinblade. Llama, can you do me a favor and roll me a brewing supplies check, please?
Yeah. If I can find, where did I put my character sheet? There we go.
I don't know. I don't know where you put it.
I did put it somewhere. What skill would you like me to associate? Wisdom?
Yes.
Okay. Rats.
Oh, man.
I'm actually giving you advantage on this particular roll.
Because I'm motivated.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Highly motivated.
In your completely disheveled, mind-screwed state where everything today has just been nightmarish, and you're blaming it all on your hungover state. If I wasn't hungover, this would be much, much easier. You have a flash of inspiration and believe you have come up with a brew that may be able to help alleviate the symptoms of this kind of ailment as you scrawled in the dirt.
Great. I'll collect those particular scrawlings onto paper so that I can save them for when I get back to my brewery.
Fantastic. Anyway, I've got to get back to tending the inn, otherwise, people will get suspicious. Room, food, it's all yours for free. Make use of it. Just please try and keep our presence in the town a secret. And look, if you're looking for any equipment, anything to help you during your stay here, speak to the dwarf in the head dwarf in the brewing.
I do
the
have just
brew-
one quick question before you go.
Yes.
Is there anything magical about these daggers?
She, as you present the two daggers, she sort of waves a hand over them and speaks some words under her breath. Indeed, yes, they're both magical.
Is it something that I should be worried about using, or are they worth my time?
I can't tell exactly what effect they would have, but they're
Nothing
definitely-
sinister.
Yeah, there's no evil aura or anything to that effect.
Thank you.
Harbeck finally connects that he has a new recipe, and the dwarf she said to get supplies from is the brewer, and he vanishes rather quickly for how he's been moving today.
Still looking at the ground with his eyes covered, bumping
Bag on
into
his
things
head?
as he runs through the room. Okay. She hurries inside after detecting magic on the daggers.
So I'm going to show the brewer the Red Bull recipe, and the new one, and try and get a couple more doses of each.
Don't you have
Okay.
a dose of the Red Bull? Wouldn't that have helped with your hangover?
I don't actually know what it does yet.
He's only had didn't you have like a dip a finger in?
Yeah,
Ice?
and I gave a dose to Brieg, but then I asked him all the wrong questions and wasn't really able to.
Can you smell your hair?
No, feel.
Right.
Feel.
Oh dear. The dwarf in the brewer, the head brewer in the brewery, as you walk in, nods at you knowingly, and after you give him the recipes, he says, "I can attempt to make this one here," and he points to the new recipe that you've created. But this other one, it requires some ingredients that I don't have. So I'm not going to be able to try and brew any of that for you, but I can definitely try and brew some of the other stuff. That's something that I can do for you.
Great.
Is there anything else you need while you're here, sir?
Let me give it some thought.
Okay. What's the rest of the party doing at the moment?
Standing around wondering where Harbeck went.
How does the government system work in this area? Is this like an individual government for this town? Is it led by some greater noble?
Okay. What kind of... Let me just think here. Let me get a history check from you, maybe?
Okay,
Would history be the most appropriate? Probably.
sure. I have no idea.
You don't know a lot about the history of the area. It would appear that the village is self-governed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's, it doesn't have a noble of some descriptor, duke or a bishop or something that oversees the area, that has a larger presence. And because of your unfamiliarity with the terrain, because you don't even know where you are at the moment, you can't determine if there's any local castles or anything, castles or keeps or homesteads or anything that would indicate that, somebody of greater power has control over the area.
So how do we want to approach the elder in town?
Well, it seems to me...
Oh, go ahead.
Well, we might be able to gather some information simply presenting ourselves and asking if he knows where the other elder is. We're from out of town. We don't know that he's missing. We just know that he was here before. Might not get much, but we could get something.
Right. Worth a try. What did you have? What were you going to say, Rogar?
I would love to ascertain whether or not he is a servant of Sithras. Because if he is, I don't think any more questions are necessary. There's an obvious solution to what we need to do.
Well, murdering him does seem like a great plan. It'd be
It's
ideal
not
to
murder.
figure...
It's cleansing.
I apologize for my terminology. It does seem like determining where he's holding his captive, if it is in fact a captive, while he's still alive, might be advisable.
Okay, so what is the plan?
Let's go talk to him.
I asked the brewer before I leave if he has any fast-acting tranquilizer I could dip some darts in.
Certainly. That's something I always keep a ready supply of.
Great.
And he reaches up his sleeve and pulls out a wristband that has 6 throwing darts on it. When worn on the wrist, it allows you to have 6 darts that wrap around the wrist, the spikes pointing upwards. There's no chance of impaling yourself with them unless you, run your hand against your side or something silly like that. And they're easily pluckable and throwable from that location, and can be easily concealed in a sleeve or something to that effect. Each of the darts has a small glass vial receptacle which would allow you to store something in it. Each of them is filled with a viscous green liquid.
Oh, those are far nicer than what I had in mind. I was just going to dip these. I'll put my own darts back on my belt and gladly wrap that on my wrist away from my alchemist's sigil, my other wrist.
Your other wrist.
Yeah.
Luckily, he's ambidextrous.
Don't you love being a monk? Llama, or Harbeck rather, rejoins the rest of the group near the inn shortly after he left. Sort of 15 minutes, maybe. Just enough time for you guys to sort of go through the discussion of what you wanted to do. And he seems a lot more cheerful and alert than he was prior to the whole everything going pear-shaped morning.
Well, should we go talk to this elder Repsis? His name just sounds evil. Don't you think so, Winks? Repsis. Repsis.
Squeak,
Sounds
squeak.
evil.
Squeak, squeak.
I'm
Binks
ready to
shivers
go.
with fear and runs up your sleeve.
Before we head out, you might think if the offer for supplies, I'll pull up my wrist, is an offer that they're making good on. If there's anything you need, do ask first.
Oh,
Anybody?
nothing comes to mind.
All good.
Comes to mind either.
Rogar has his hammer for smashing
Yeah, he,
followers of Sereth. He's fine.
Actually,
Actually,
well, I don't know how much time we can get. Is it possible to get any more time to speak with the innkeeper? Because if
the innkeeper seems to be quite busy. We're moving up to like
That's what I was afraid
lunchtime.
of.
Yeah.
Nope. Then nope.
Nope. Okay, so are we traveling to the town hall then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to the town hall. The map should be loading in momentarily.
Yep.
hello?
Okay, so you enter the hallway here, and there's a large double doors in front of you. Obviously leads to some kind of meeting room, and there's a door to your left and a door to your right as well. And the group was obviously parked up in front of those double doors.
No one else visible.
Nobody else visible. It actually seems fairly deserted. There's not even any kind of noise coming from the area.
Okay.
Hello?
No response.
Do you suppose his living quarters are upstairs?
Wait. What's the plan here? I know that
We
we're
need to
planning
ask
on
them
eventually
questions.
getting in a fight, but what's our cover? Why are we here to ask questions?
Because we're looking for the leader of the pack.
Right, so...
Din, we need to be a bit discreet.
So, perhaps before we go any further, we need to
I
have a
don't know what
conversation with...
dispute is.
We need to have a bit of a conversation with Din. Do you remember when the innkeeper said that we weren't supposed to talk about them?
Yes,
I'd really like you to take that to heart.
but we are looking for the leader of the pack, not the
Right.
innkeeper. The other leader that this
Right.
leader ate.
Din,
Right,
Or
and
made
that's right.
disappear.
this
we
is a
just need you to-
situation where your lack of understanding of how society and other people works is going to be a big problem, and we just need you to play along. In fact, don't even play along. Pretend that you don't know how to talk.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Harbeck,
Yes.
I think our plan was simply to approach as exactly what we are, at least initially.
But we can't. Should we say the name? Is my question. Are we going to say, hey, we were told we could get some papers translated? Is that the goal? Is that the deception?
Right, I don't see any harm in it. We
Fair
heard
enough.
that Elder Villain was a intelligent person that might have some knowledge of language. We had some documents we wanted him to translate.
I guess my question is, aren't we just going to hear the standard lie? Like, what motivation will he have to give us information he hasn't given anyone else in town?
The thing is, you've not asked anybody in town. When you spoke in Velen's name, everybody seems to react with shock, almost like it's taboo to say it. And you've
Right.
not heard anything of his fate either. So,
Din is raising
feel
her
like
hand
getting the-
frantically.
I feel like getting the standard lie is a good place to start.
I imagine that the standard lie has been thoroughly checked by the innkeeper and her associates.
Now she's
Din,
waving
what
it
do you have
in
to say?
Harbeck's face. Are we going to try science?
Not that particular science.
We could try the other science.
The water one.
Uh-huh.
That's not going to help here.
How do you know until you try it?
Once again, delicate situation. Eventually you'll understand, but today's not that day.
I'll go back to pretending I don't speak.
Thank you.
Since we don't even know the standard lay, it's difficult to know what other direction to take it.
Fair enough. I guess we'll play it by ear. It's going to be up to you and Tabarin, I imagine. I'm not much of a play it by ear sort of guy.
Alright.
Much more like a punch it in the ear.
Right, if you need the ears to ring, then you call me.
I might need a moment to gather myself before I have another long conversation with someone that I don't know. Alright.
And as he starts to center himself, you see a calm wash over Brieg. And his stance becomes much more relaxed and comfortable and sure of itself, and Silver Star is back.
Welcome back, my lord. How much filling into the situation do you require?
You're completely familiar.
Brieg kept me up to date. No worries.
Perfect. Lead the way then.
Do we... The living quarters, I assume, are on the upper story?
There isn't actually an upper story, from what you can tell outside.
Oh, perhaps through one of these doors then. I assume not the big double doors. Shall we head to the left?
Sounds good to me.
My map is doing that weird thing again, so I can't actually see what is to the left.
I move down and open the door to the left.
Okay. You see a long corridor traveling towards the north here, ending in a door.
Now, remember, we are coming to call on him. We may want to try to announce ourselves as much as possible. Elder Repsis?
No response.
Maybe Din could try science.
What manner of science? You might need to be specific. She's been interpreting that word rather broadly.
She tends to be able to say things much louder than many of us do.
Oh, fair enough. Yes, Din. You may try the same science we tried in the inn earlier.
Oh, except...
Elder Ben!
Why did you... I saw that coming from a mile away. Really, Marla? Really?
I was actually starting to say, except this time use the other name.
And
He's who we're here for. We're going to ask about him when we find out that someone else is in charge. I think that's a fair person to walk in expecting to see.
You're right, of course.
Nothing happened.
You're certainly right.
I'm going to open
Nothing
these doors in
happened.
front
No
of me.
response.
So I'm going to go... So there's a door at the end of the hallway. Are there more doors to our left that I can't see because my map is being dumb?
Yeah, there's two doors to the left.
So I'm going to go knock on the first one.
Am I missing the... I don't think I have the Fog of War enabled.
I don't have Fog of War turned on for this map.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No
so
response
you knock on the
to
door?
knocking on the door? Yeah.
No response.
And how about on the other door if I go knock on that one?
You knock on that door as well, and no response.
Is that
open the first one.
Okay, so you open the first door, the door on the south side. You see a luxurious office, a large round table in it as well as a bookshelf with volumes of musty tomes and so forth. Otherwise, the office is empty.
Is the chapel door open?
Well, all right. How about the other one?
Same again, only except this time the office is slightly less luxurious and very, very sparsely populated. No books or anything on the bookshelf. Roll an investigation check for me, please. As you have a look around in the room.
Everyone?
Yeah, anybody who sort of pokes their head in the room can have a look around. We'll see what we get. Alright. Rogar, you notice that things have clearly been moved out of this office. You can still see the imprints of dust where, you know, books were on the shelf and things were on the desk. And the office has not been cleaned in a while.
Well, presumably this was our good Elder Velin's office. The other one must belong to Repsis. If he's not at home, perhaps we should poke around a bit.
You're suggesting we search through his office?
Well, yes, that's exactly what I'm suggesting. Perhaps Harbeck could keep an eye out.
Aye.
Yes, an eye out is very important. If he comes back and we're in his office poking around, we're going to lose any kind of trust as to regular questioning with him.
If we see anyone, then we'll try science again.
Is the big meeting door open?
Yes, the big. You've walked into the big meeting area. There's, you know, a lot of benches for the townsfolk to sit on, and a very large fireplace, where all the benches seem to be pointing in that general direction. As you can see on the map, it's a large, you know, lofted ceiling. It's obviously the center of the meetings for the town. So, if there's announcements or weddings or anything like that that might be going on, this is the place that they likely happen.
I'm searching under the benches and in the fireplace, periodically saying, Elder Varen!
Roll an investigation check for me, please.
You found him, oddly.
He was under a bench the whole time.
Shh, be very, very quiet. You find nothing interesting, then.
Great.
Okay, so the party is looking around on the left side of the room,
Yeah.
or the left side of the town.
I'm gonna hope that Elder Repsis is the type that, like, leaves half-written letters to his co-conspirators sitting on his desk. Yeah.
Nice
For us to
try.
just randomly find.
Nice try. No, you don't find any correspondence, in fact, on his desk. His desk is immaculately clean. There's lots of books and stuff in the shelves, but there's no writings or anything on his desk. It's very sparsely populated.
Are there drawers in the desk?
Yep, there certainly is. 2 drawers.
Are they open? Can I search those also?
Okay, you look through the drawers, and they are empty.
Odd. Well,
Alright, let's see what the rest of this
yes, I
building
suppose
has to
so.
offer.
So there's the door at the end of the hall that we haven't looked in yet.
Oh yeah.
Din is now looking in the fire for Elder Velen. He's not there either, Din.
He's not in the chapel.
Fair enough. I guess... Din, let's go check the other hallway.
Uh-huh.
Poke my head
Yes.
in the room at the end of the hall.
There's nothing up there.
Okay. Din and I will poke into
Before
this
you
room.
continue too much further, when you enter that hallway, guys, I'll get you to take a couple of steps back there.
Sure enough.
As you enter that hallway, you see, pleasant-looking peasant woman. She's, dressed in commoner's garb. She's standing in the hallway with her hands clasped in front of her, and she says, "I'm sorry, meetings are by appointment only."
Huh. Well, let me get my associates. We need to make an appointment.
Elder Repsis's schedule is very busy. Can you come back later?
That's okay. We're here to see Elder Varen.
She doesn't say anything else.
Can you give us some indication of what sort of time frame later is?
She gestures towards the door.
Great, you've been particularly helpful.
What's your name, miss? Have you a name? Excellent. I'm just going to
What?
walk right past her.
Yes, Lord Silverstar.
As you attempt to walk right past her, make a wisdom saving throw, please. And as you attempt to walk right past her, you hear, "I'm sorry. Meetings are by appointment only." Brig, you feel the overwhelming sense that you shouldn't be here without an appointment as you try to walk past her.
Well, clearly, friends, we need an appointment.
Wait, so was that out loud? Did I hear the same phrase repeated? Or was that... Did he just hear it?
He just heard it. And
Okay.
can I get a insight roll from
Yeah. I really
Everybody.
hope this works.
everybody can...
I'm going to roll one, even though I'm not sure that I'm included in this, everybody.
You're not included. Everybody. Rogar. That's not like Lord Silverstar to just change his mind so easily. Something is strange here.
I was just kind of coming up in the hallway, so I'm not sure I caught the full extent of what was going on. Did I hear?
You would have heard the
conversation twice?
It's
That whole
quiet
thing.
in here. You didn't hear the conversation twice. You heard it's by appointment only. He asked her name. There was no kind of response as you were walking towards the door. He said, "Okay then," and started to. You saw him walk from the hallway up that hallway, and then a few moments later, you hear, "Oh, it appears we need an appointment," and he walks out. It's odd.
But okay. So I haven't seen the lady in there yet. I've just heard it saying that.
Yes.
Is he
that's
heading
correct.
all the way out the door?
Yep. He's leaving the town hall. He's just
Can I
walking
stop
straight out the
him?
door.
Call him? Lord Silverstar.
Yes, I suspect that leaving written correspondence is the best way to make an appointment. I'm just going to head back and write that letter now.
How do we make an appointment?
I'm trying to decide if my character would actually try to appeal to his ego. Surely you don't need an appointment.
Yes!
Tabern, even you are noticing something is strange now.
Lord Silverstar,
Yes?
let me find a place. I've got paper and pen that you could write the letter here.
Oh, excellent. Then I can leave it with his serving girl before we leave.
Yeah, just follow me. We'll head just down here to get that taken care of.
Has she moved at all?
Nope.
And-
She's standing still. Gesturing towards the door.
Okay.
Is it an illusion? Can I...
I
guess I can wait and hand her the note and see what happens.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
excuse me. Do you have a place where we could sit down and write something?
She doesn't appear particularly responsive.
Do you have a name?
I tried that already. We need an
I-
appointment.
Do you have a soul? Are you a sentient being? See, most polite humans, when they want people to take the hint and leave, will continue the conversation. That's your cue
Right.
to say words.
Roll a knowledge arcana check to figure out what's going on here.
Alright.
catch. I'm going to roll a science check to figure out what's going on here, and just throw some small object at her.
What small object are you going to throw, Llama?
Something innocuous, like a copper piece from my pocket. Like, just, I want to see if it bounces off of her, if she flinches. Like, I'm just looking for a human reaction from this person who only seems to answer one question.
The coin bounces off her. Actually, roll a perception check.
Sure.
Yep, it bounces off her.
Great. And she does not flinch, though.
No.
Excellent. Harbeck is completely convinced that she is either enthralled or a construct or an illusion or something. And, you know, on the off chance that she is enthralled and like an innocent bystander, I have handy tranquilizer darts. And that goes next.
Okay, you throw a tranquilizer dart at her.
Yeah.
Once again, it bounces off her.
Okay,
And just to be perfectly clear, you did throw it pointy end first.
yes, and I'm quite proficient in darts. This is not a thing that would have bounced off of skin that it could dig into and insert its poison.
Exactly right, yes.
Okay, excellent.
Now everybody can roll another insight check. Except Silverstar, who is utterly convinced.
He's sitting on one of these benches taking the advice to just write my note now. So I'm like leaning over and writing on the bench a little letter to leave.
As I retrieve my dart, is it intact and does it still have its payload?
Oh, you walk towards her?
Yeah, I go to retrieve my dart that bounced off.
Roll a wisdom save.
Brilliant. Oh, no.
Hey!
19!
Yeah, maybe.
As you walk towards her, you start to feel befuddled, but manage to shake it off. And kneel before her and collect your dart, and as you stand up, you realize she was never there to begin with.
Okay. So, was an illusion? Like, I see nothing now? That I've
Nothing there.
seen through it? I wave my hand through her space. That's an illusion. She's not here.
And
She
as
looks
he
like
does
she's
that,
there.
the illusion is broken, and everybody else who has vision of her at the moment the illusion is shattered. She's no longer there.
Now, this does put a kink in our plan, though. Because we
Why?
can't walk in there and say, oh, hey, we're just a band of adventurers who walked right through your illusion and are
Can we just-
innocently just looking for a guy that's not here. That's not going to fly.
Can we tell him we made an appointment?
I don't imagine that he'll fall for that. The illusion doesn't seem to be programmed to actually take appointments.
Silverstar is now pacing back and forth down this hallway. The illustrious Lord Silverstar requests that... No.
Hey,
The...
Lord
Silverstar, come here!
yes, what is it?
Wave my hand through the space again.
And all of a sudden you realize you've been duped.
Well, that's just insulting. I need to have a word.
Oh, he's just going?
Okay. So where are you headed?
I'm going to knock on this door insistently for a second and then open it and see if there's anything in there.
4 benches, obviously a storage room of some descript, in case they need
Nothing.
extra seating.
I'm going to head down and knock on this door insistently and then open it after a second.
Okay, make a reflex saving throw, please.
Oh, dear me. I should think about things before I do them. Oh. I got a 12.
You got a 12. Okay, so as you grab the door handle and turn it to open it, you feel a sharp pinprick in your wrist.
Wait,
And
I feel like at level 5 I might have gotten something that helps me with traps.
you should probably check that. And then you'll need to make a constitution saving throw.
Nope.
Nope.
Ah, darn. A constitution save.
Yes.
Big numbers. 14. Slightly better.
14. Okay. You feel sickened. You feel like grossly nauseated. So much so that you immediately void your bowels and empty your stomach and just become a quivering mess of illness. And you take 3 points of constitution damage.
Ooh.
Constitution damage.
How much extra hangover cure do I have?
You have none because it hasn't been brewed yet.
Ah, rats.
Do the rest of us get 2 points of stinky damage?
Yes.
I take a vial of pure water that I have and give that to Lord Silverstar.
And Lord Silverstar attempts to drink it.
I wait for a moment when I feel like the nausea is at bay, so I don't just immediately throw it up. Just a second, so I can make sure it actually gets all the way into my stomach, and then I chug it as quickly as I can.
Okay, and you feel not nauseated anymore. You feel much, much healthier. However, the constitution damage has stuck. At least for now.
Ouch.
And the door has swung open, revealing a spiral staircase heading down, carved into the rock, the stone of the earth. And that'll do.
That'll be a great cliffhanger to leave it on until next time.